y'all, welcome back to Nini's Texas Kitchen. We've been gone for a while because we've had to travel and everything else, but we're back home. So now we're gonna make some homemade sour cream chicken enchiladas for y'all. So there's several steps to this. The first one is to get your chicken. And I cook mine in an Instapot. You can cook it in a crock pot if you want to, whatever. You just wanna cook it long enough to where you can shred it really good whenever it's done. So I'm gonna put it in my Instapot here. Like that. And then you wanna season it. So I put just a dash of cumin, just a tiny bit. Then put a couple of dashes of oregano, dried. I use some red cayenne pepper to season, a little bit of garlic powder, and some salt. Then I add just a little touch of water to it. Set it on the chicken setting. And on mine, it's setting number 6. You may have a different brand, so yours will be a different setting. So that'll take about 20-25 minutes in the Instapot before it'll alarm, and then you can open it up. So while I'm waiting on that, the next thing I do is prepare my tortillas. So I'm making 12 of these enchiladas. So the way that you prepare your tortillas, the way I've prepared my tortillas in Texas my whole life, is you have a frying pan of oil that's just like a thin layer of oil, and we're gonna fry our tortillas. So I'm gonna set this to get hot, and it'll get hot, and then I'll show you how I twist them. This other stuff that I have over here is to prepare my sour cream sauce for my chicken enchiladas. So I have 3 chopped jalapenos. If you take the seeds out, they won't be as hot. If you leave a few seeds in, if you want it spicier. I have 8 ounces of sour cream, 1/4 of a cup of butter or margarine, and 1/4 a cup of flour. I have 10 ounces of chicken broth, and I have 1 cup of water. And you can add more water if you need to later. So we'll make that sauce in a few minutes, and you'll also add some salt to it. And then we have onions and cheese that'll go with our enchiladas. So that's the main steps. So we're gonna let this get hot, and whenever it gets hot, we'll be right back. All right, y'all, our oil is hot, so now we're gonna prepare our tortillas. So I've got corn tortillas here. The way I do it is I have a plate with a couple of paper towels on it. That way I can drain them on here. And you're not gonna fry these in the oil until they're hard. You're just gonna do it while they're soft. And I use 2 spoons that are the same size, and you twirl them. And you gotta watch the heat. You don't want them to get too hot because it'll start to make the tortillas get too hard. And it literally just takes seconds to get them to the way that you want them to be. So a lot of times when I do it, I'll end up turning my heat down a couple times just because I don't want them to get too hot, because then they start to get hard on the edges, and you don't want that. So I started out on like medium high, and I just turned it down to medium low. And you can see how you know they're ready because they start poofing up and getting those little air bubbles in them. See the little air bubbles that pop up whenever you fry them? And that's what you want. All right, so I'm gonna finish frying these, and then whenever we come back, I'll show you how to make your sour cream sauce. Okay, y'all, we finished our tortillas. So as you can see, they're all fried and golden and ready to go. So I'm just letting these cool while my chicken finishes cooking. And so the next step is to go ahead and make our sour cream sauce. So what you do with this is you're gonna put 1/4 of a cup of butter or margarine into a saucepan and let it melt. And then you add 1/4 of a cup of flour, so you're like making a roux out of it. So it won't take very long for this butter to melt, because I'm using the same burner I just used for my tortillas, so it was already kind of hot. And my butter's melting really fast. I kind of have it on a high speed, so a high temperature, so I'm stirring it so I don't want my butter to stick to my pan. I want to keep it going so it'll melt even and not have any burnt spots. So you just keep doing that, and it's almost completely melted. You can probably hear it sizzling in there. Then throw in your flour and stir it up to make your roux, and you can turn your heat down a little bit. So I have that all mixed together. So the next step is to take the chicken broth. Like I said, it's 10 ounces of chicken broth, and I just used 10 ounces in a bouillon cube of chicken. And you slowly add it and stir, because you want to make sure that it comes out smooth. So don't add it all at once or it'll be lumpy. So little bits at a time, and stir it up really good and make it smooth, which is what I'm doing now. Keep on stirring, keep on stirring. It's gonna start getting real thick, a thick mixture. And that's why you add the water, and then the sour cream itself, when you add it, will help thin it down a little bit too. So I'm nearly done with my chicken broth going in. I'm gonna add the rest. So it'll be a nice smooth mixture. Turn the heat down just a little bit while I'm adding everything. So the next step is I'm gonna add in my water slowly while I stir. Now I'm gonna add in about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You can add more or less to taste once you try your sour cream sauce. If you don't like the seasoning, you can either add less or add more, however you like it. So adding that, now I'm going to turn the heat back up so that it'll start to get thickened and bubbly. And then once it gets to the right consistency that I want it, which is it's not going to be thick like a pudding, it's going to be kind of just a little bit less thick than that, like a sauce. That's what consistency I want it to be, because it's a sauce. It is sour cream sauce. So you have to turn up the heat to get the flour activated in there and get it going to thicken back up. And then once it does that, I'll add my sour cream and my jalapenos. And then I'll set it to the side and let it start to cool while I wait on my chicken. So we're gonna just keep letting this get thickened, and then we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, y'all. Our mixture is thickened and bubbly now. So now I can turn off the heat. And I'm gonna add my jalapenos. And don't forget, it's 3 to 4 diced jalapenos. And I used fresh ones from my garden. Now I'm gonna add my sour cream sauce in to make it sour cream sauce instead of just butter, flour, jalapeno sauce. And then you wanna just stir the sour cream into the hot mixture until it melts and combines in. with all of the rest of your sauce, and it'll turn more white in appearance at that point. Before that, it's sort of like a goldenish-y, beige, yellowy color, but the sour cream helps it turn more white. And it'll continue to melt in there, turning it whiter, and you'll see the little flakes of the jalapenos in it. So there's our sauce. Looks good, looks good. So now we'll just set it to the side. And then when our chicken is done, which will just be a few minutes, we'll take it out, we'll shred it, and then I'll show you how to assemble your enchiladas. We'll be back in a minute. All right, y'all, our chicken is done. So I just took it out of the Instant Pot. You can see it's done. So what I do is I take a fork and I just chop it up and shred it up into little shredded pieces like this. And then I have my onion. And so I just have a little bit of onion. It's probably like a fourth of one medium-sized onion because I just do them half and half. So in case there's anybody who's eating that doesn't really want onion in theirs, then they can have the ones that don't have onion. So after you chop it up, the next step is you need to take your sour cream sauce and you're gonna pour just a little bit into the bottom like a base. And I've got this 9x13 pan that's prepared with cooking spray just because I don't want any of my cheese or anything to stick to the sides whenever I bake it. So as you can see, my sauce is still hot. There's steam coming off of it. So your next step is, for these, I'm gonna fill them with just a tiny bit of cheddar cheese and my onion and my chicken mixture. So you just take a little bit of your chicken and a little bit of your onion and your cheese, and then you roll it up like so, and you put it in your pan, and you just keep doing that until you fill it up with your 12 enchiladas. And so when we're done with this step, we'll come back and I'll show you how you top it off and how you bake it at 350 for about 25 minutes. All right, y'all, I finished rolling up all my tortillas. As you can see, my enchiladas are rolled up. So now the next step is I'm gonna take my sour cream sauce that I made and I'm just gonna pour it over my enchiladas like so. And you usually have some sauce left over, so I just save it. And anybody who wants some sauce, extra sauce with theirs, they can just take it and pour a little bit on theirs on their plate. Then for this, for the topping, I'm using shredded Monterey Jack, and I just sprinkle it over the top. Like so. And then, since I made half and half, the rest of my onions that I have left, I sprinkle them over the ones that have onion in them, because that way it lets people know which enchiladas have onions and which ones do not. So now that we've finished that part, we'll stick it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. It just needs to heat through at 350 degrees. And then when that's done, we will enjoy our sour cream chicken enchiladas. So we'll see y'all in a few minutes. All right, y'all, our chicken enchiladas with sour cream sauce are done. So I left them in the oven just for like 20 minutes because I check mine every so often while I'm baking them, and they were getting bubbly and the cheese was all melted good on top, so that meant they were heated through. So I went ahead and took them out at 20 minutes instead of waiting. So now let's give them a try. You can grab a little extra sauce out of the bottom of your pan or out of your extra sauce that you have left over. You can serve these with beans, rice, salad, whatever you want. I forgot to tell y'all at the beginning, I just did 3 chicken thighs because I was making 12 enchiladas. So, and that's going to kind of depend on how much chicken you want to stuff yours with. But just kind of go by based on how many enchiladas you want to make. So 3 thighs will do 12 enchiladas quite easily. So let's try it. Cheesy and perfect. So if you like my video on making sour cream chicken enchiladas, please like my video, share it, and subscribe to others, and subscribe to my channel. We'll see y'all next time in Nini's Texas Kitchen.